Yay. Welcome, everyone. Yes, you are being recorded. We forgot to hit the record button at the last meeting until most of the way through the intros. So if you are a member of the Virginia Plastic Pollution Prevention Network website, you can see last week's meeting or last month's meeting and all the meetings before this. So I do want to welcome everyone. As we said, you are being recorded. This is our fourth Virginia Plastic Pollution Prevention Network meeting. And if you're just getting on here, we'd like everybody to sign in the chat room with your name, your organization, and your email address so that we have that in paper format. Let's see. I think that's all I have for now. Katie, do you want to give a brief overview? You're on mute. Katie, you're on mute.
All right. So we always start these meetings with a brief overview of what the Virginia Plastic Pollution Prevention Network is. We are a network that seeks to build cooperation, communication, and collaboration, information sharing in order to advance plastic pollution prevention in the state of Virginia. The council or the network was created this summer after many months of talking with stakeholders, and it was founded by Clean Virginia Waterways of Longwood University. That's where I work. And it was founded by Christina Trapani Ecomaniac Company, and also the Virginia Coastal Zone Management Program, which has provided a lot of leadership on marine debris issues in Virginia for the last 6+ years. So those are the co-founders, and we have a website which we're going to talk about a little bit in a moment. But at this point, I think we'll turn it over to you, Christina, to go through some introductions of people who have not been introduced.
Yeah, so for the past several meetings, we have had everyone go around the room and introduce themselves, and it ends up taking about half the meeting. So that's one of the reasons we're going to have you all sign in and have everyone sign in. But for people who have not been on one of these phone calls before, if you could go down to the reaction and put up your hand. And we'll have everyone that has not been in these meetings before introduce yourself. Try to keep it to around 30 seconds. So basically just your name and your organization and where you're from, and anything else pertinent that you can speak to in less than 30 seconds. Let's see, Scott Dittman, did I see you put up a thumbs up?
You did.
Excellent, welcome.
Thanks. I'm a private citizen in Lexington, Virginia, and I've been asked to serve on a special city committee that's looking at recycling options since for budget COVID reasons, we had to stop curbside pickup back in the summertime. So there's a group of folks that are just trying to be as aware as possible and look for any alternatives.
Wonderful, thank you. I was just in Lexington last week. It was beautiful. Let's see, who else had their hand up? Tanner Council?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Hey, this is Tanner Council. I am the grassroots manager for Chesapeake Bay Foundation in Hampton Roads, and I coordinate Clean the Bay Day for as a statewide program for CBF, and we did not have it last year, and we're working on a kind of a contingency plan for this year. But I think that's probably I do a lot of other things with CBF, but that's probably the thing that brought me here was that large statewide litter removal program.
And Tanner, is that just in Virginia, or is it other Chesapeake states as well?
Yeah, so Clean the Bay Day, we have a couple of military installations that participate outside of Virginia. That's basically just because I don't say no to our troops, but no, it is. Other than that, it is a Virginia, exclusively Virginia program.
Okay, great.
At CBF.
Welcome. Anybody else new? How about the people on the phone? You can't put up your thumbs.
Sorry. Jessica, did I see you? Yeah, okay.
Yes, hi, my name is Jessica McCauley. I've been a water quality monitor with Prince William County, the Soil and Water Conservation District, for about 4 years. I was recently hired as the water quality assistant. I work closely with Veronica Tangieri.
Welcome, thank you. I have to keep muting myself because the jets are flying right now. So there's a lot of background noise. Anyone else? All the hands went away. So if you haven't been on the call before, or just go ahead and speak up.
Actually, we just let Rick Gallagher into the Zoom meeting, and this is his first time. So Rick, sorry to put you on the spot when you first got on, but would you introduce yourself? Just like 30 seconds or so. Rick, you're on mute. And there you go.
Okay. I'm Rick Gallagher in Reston, Virginia. I own a franchise of 1-800-GOT-JUNK, so I have been intimately involved in junk for 20 years. And today we just launched the VirginiaBottleBill.org website. We're trying to gather support, and so we can prove to the legislature that there is enough support so we can pass a bill. So that's why I'm here.
All right, well, we'll make sure that we put that in our next month announcements, your website address.
Okay.
I'm also going to show you how you can put it in a forum on the website here today.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to take this opportunity. This was something that was in the monthly announcements, which we think of the monthly announcements as one of the 3 major benefits of this network. First is the monthly Zoom meetings, and then of course the website with the forum for hopefully a robust exchange of information. But then the monthly announcements, in which we'll put paragraphs about different things. And one of the things that we mentioned in the last one was this new report that Clean Virginia Waterways published about 2 weeks ago. And it compares states that have bottle bills with states that don't have bottle bills, and takes a look at the trash that we find through the International Coastal Cleanup. So I encourage you to download that report. It's free on the Clean Virginia Waterways publication page. And it basically shows why Rick's work is important, that states with bottle bills have about 2.5 times less bottles and cans littered than states like Virginia, which do not have a bottle bill. So just had to make a plug for that report.
Thank you.
Hey, is there anyone else that is new to the phone call? If not, we're going to start with our 3-minute updates that we have for today. Did we get everybody that's new? Okay, and again, if you're just coming on, go ahead and give us your name and email and organization in the chat room so that we have that information. Promise not to spam you ever. Okay, so we did have a few folks that wanted to do a more in-depth introduction. So we are going to do this every month, where we'll give 3 to 4 people, organizations, about 3 minutes just to introduce themselves, any projects that are coming up or that they're working on, or just to introduce your organization. The wonderful thing about this network is that everybody is from all over the state. So those of us here at the coastal part of Virginia may not know what's going on in Lexington or Rockbridge, and want to hear more. So with that, I'm going to introduce Erin Chase. She's with the Virginia Network for Democracy and Environmental Rights. Erin is going to tell us a little bit about what's going on with that.
Hey everybody, I promise I'll be quick. I don't think I'll need 3 minutes, but I'm the community organizer with Vendor, and one of our biggest aims is rights of nature. So we want to give our ecosystems and our waterways rights similar to human rights. And I think this really aligns with the plastic pollution initiative that you all are spearheading, because if these ecosystems have the rights that we hope to give them, then pollution would be a bigger punishment. And I think there would be more initiatives to be able to clean our waterways. Our sister organization down in Florida had an amendment on their ballot in Orange County on this past election, and they passed with 89% approval to give all of their waterways in that area rights similar to those of human rights. So it's really exciting to see that going on, and we really hope to bring that here to Virginia. Sorry about the dogs. That's all I have.
Thank you, Erin. Appreciate that. Where are you from? Did I miss that?
I am from Richmond, Virginia, and I'm currently here in Richmond. Yes.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna let's introduce Jessica next. Jessica Steelman is with the Accomack Northampton PDC and Greenworks. Jessica, did you want to share screen?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. Hi, everyone. For those of you I've not met, I'm Jessica Steelman, as she mentioned. I'm the coastal planner with the Accomack Northampton Planning District Commission. Can y'all see my screen? It should be the web page says Greenworks at the top.
Yes, we can.
All right. So this past year with Virginia Coastal Zone Management Funds, one of our TA projects was to write and create a map and info sheet on the impacts of litter here on the Eastern Shore. So I just wanted to show y'all that resource. This is the map that was made, and it highlights routes that are in the purple are surveyed, and then other routes that are frequently cleaned. So you can see here some of the different layers. I'll let y'all go and play with that on your own if you feel so inclined. And where it is always changing, that will continue, our intention is to continue updating that. Along with the map asset, there is the Eastern Shore of Virginia and Proper Disposal of Litter Impacts Assessment, which is a mouthful, but it highlights a lot of what this flyer shows you, to where the Eastern Shore is spending upwards of $250,000, $300,000 a year in volunteer efforts and paid staff efforts and county efforts towards keeping the roadways clean. And in 5 years, that's going to be up over $1 million total value effort. So that kind of highlights some of that. It also goes into a bit more detail in the report about the economic, environmental, and health impacts of litter. And one of the biggest things that I was shocked by outside of all of the actual litter statistics was the fact that it has been reported to reduce property value, which is huge on the shore here because we really want more people to move here and sustain the Eastern Shore, as opposed to lose property value and lose residents and quality of schools and all of that. So that's what we've been working on. I have posted the whole thing to the research forum. So if you guys are interested in reading more about it there or reaching out to me, by all means, please do.
Jessica, may I ask a question about
Yes, sir.
What role does police enforcement play in your efforts?
To my knowledge, and from a lack of reports that I got about any sort of enforcement, not much. Probationers do clean the roads when the weather's decent and when they have probationers that are allowed to. But those numbers are also in the report if you're looking for. Oh. It'll show you down in our tables here. Let's see if I can find it easy for you. So Northampton County Sheriff's Department collected 2,500 bags. They don't give you a whole lot of information, which is why we keep wanting to update this. We're pulling more and more. But the enforcement of it, I was not able to get any reports from, unfortunately.
Thank you.
Well, that's great. I'm glad that you have an economic component to that report, because that's very compelling.
That is, I'm sure, it is as accurate as I can get it with the information that localities and entities were willing to provide. Thus, always trying to make it a bit better when we can get reports from DEQ that come out annually. So
great. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
Thank you for using the website.
Yay, thanks for telling me that.
So the third intro, I'm going to give myself a shameless plug because Small Business Saturday is coming up. I'm hoping, you know, we formed this network to bring in all aspects of you know, people working on plastic pollution prevention. So I would really love to see more businesses involved in these conversations as well. So if you know anyone that owns a business that's working on the issue of plastic pollution, please ask them to join us. My name's Christina and I own Ecomaniac Company. I started this business in 2008 while I was working with stranded sea turtles in response to some of the plastic pollution I was seeing around the state of Virginia and also in the bellies of many sea turtles. I decided to start this company with reusable shopping bags. And over the last 12 years, I've blossomed into about 200 eco-friendly products that take the place of single-use plastics, as well as some other eco-friendly fun things. I've also, with COVID, when many stores stopped allowing reusable shopping bags and reusable cups, I started looking into plastic-free alternatives like solid shampoo, solid dish detergent, things that would normally come in plastic packaging. And I've actually got local resources making these things for me, which is wonderful. So with that being said, Small Business Saturday, Cider Monday, Plaid Friday, all of that, you can shop on my website at ecomaniaccompany.com. And I also am a Virginia Green supplier for custom printed eco-friendly products. I'm a Pearl business with Lynnhaven River Now, and I'm also SWAM certified, which is a small women and minority-owned business. So if you're a state organization, you can order that stuff through me. I think that's it. And then of course, that on the flip side of that, I do some consulting work with Katie and in the past with the Virginia Aquarium on marine debris projects like statewide marine debris research project and the statewide balloon research project that is still ongoing. There's my 3 minutes of fame and shameless plugging. Karen, I saw that you had your hand up, cyber hand.
No, I was just applauding your being a Pearl business.
Thank you. Yep.
I'm glad that Christina brought that up, that we do have some interest amongst some restaurant associations. They haven't been able to join us yet, but we really think that combating plastic pollution is going to be a all hands on deck kind of effort. Yep. And getting all of the food service involved, the decision makers, and you know, I Clean Virginia Waterways, we do use Ecomaniac, Christina's company, as our preferred vendor for all of our green giveaways and things like that. So again, as we go forward into 2021, we hope to get more of the decision makers at universities, restaurants, bars to come on board with this issue. So, well, thank you all three for your 3-minute summaries of where you are. And actually at this point, we're gonna kind of jump ahead to talk about December. So so far we've been meeting, I know it sounds like we're at the end of the meeting, we're not. We just want to make sure that we get everybody's opinion on this topic. Should we meet in December? If we were to, it would be on December, was it the 15th? Is that right? Sorry. Yes, it would be Tuesday, December 15th at 3 p.m. And we want your votes. Would you be able to attend, or is Christmas going to be, taking up a whole couple of weeks? Okay, why don't we do thumbs up? Yeah, those of you that have cameras, a thumbs up meaning yes, you could and would and love to attend. All right, so seeing a lot of thumbs up. Lots of thumbs up. Okay, so we'll do it. Thank you for your vote. And if you can't join us, we will record it, and as a member, you will be able to watch it later. Okay.
And as a follow-up to that, so we had talked about maybe discussing at our next meeting the plastic bag fee that was passed in the 2020 General Assembly, and just want to hear from cities and towns that are working on putting a fee on plastic bags or considering it in the future. I know everybody's been kind of standing back, or most places are standing back right now during COVID, not wanting to put extra pressure on struggling retailers. But we kind of want to get a feel for what to expect in 2021. So that'll probably be our next topic of discussion, and we will probably be hitting up a few of you to be the speakers for that. I think that's all we had to say. Yes, Tom.
Any other ideas, any other topics that you would like us to go into in future meetings? Put that in the chat box. Is there a particular thing that irks you about plastic pollution? Put it in the chat box, and we will try to work it into a future Zoom meeting.
Christina, I just had a question about simply about the plastic bag fees and things, and just wondering what our capacity is, or what our mission might entail as far as lobbying for legislation similar to that in the future.
That's a great question, Tom. And actually, the way the network has been devised, we are not going to be advocating for legislation. We will be sharing and collaborating, sharing data. Those of you who can lobby for such things can talk about the results or talk about your goals, but the network, in order to be open to everybody, we cannot be an advocacy group. Because if we were, we would lose all of our federal and state members, the state agencies and such. So it's up for each member organization to determine whether or not they can or cannot be active lobbyists and advocates. Does that answer that, Tom? Or anybody else have a question about that? Yeah, Carrie.
Yes, I'd just like to suggest that next month on the plastic bags, we address the issue about equity. In Arlington County, our board is raising the concern about the equity of the plastic bag tax and is pushing it off a little bit, partly because of COVID, but because of a concern about that. I feel that there are probably many solutions to that. I think it's probably a non-issue, and I hope it's not a non-issue, but it's one that can be addressed, and it'd be interesting to have us talk about it.
Yeah, it might be good to have somebody from Washington, D.C. speak, because they addressed that.
Yes, we did.
They addressed that. Zach, you had something to say there?
Yeah, I'm happy to talk to anyone about the plastic bag bill. I also want to mention that we should work on making sure we call it a fee and not a tax, because it is an optional thing. A tax is something that you have to pay. A fee is just a fee that is something optional. Something that we always include when we're talking about potential plastic bag bills is that individuals who are recipients of things like SNAP are exempt from the fee, and any fees that are collected are supposed to be used in part to buy bags for individuals who need those things. But at litterfreeva.org, we track litter-based legislation in Virginia, and we use that to advocate for policies. Clean Fairfax, we're a nonprofit, a small one without a budget for actual lobbying, but advocacy work we are all about, and happy to talk about that with anyone as well.
Great, thank you. I just put the litterfreeva.org website into the chat box. A great website. Anybody
And I
else?
believe it's also been mentioned in the forums on our website.
Yes, well, that would be a nice segue to our next topic, which is a look again at the website. Unless there's anything else that wants to...
Yeah, so I think the plastic bag fee discussion will be a great one next month to be had in preparation for 2021. So we'll stick with that idea. Veronica, did you have a question?
Hi, Christina. And just to inform the group that we already have the report of the liter, and I mean the high liter amounts in Virginia, but no bill report on our Facebook page. And on the plastic in relation to business or an urban business area, back in 2017, there's a particular site out here in Prince William County that was really an eyesore to trash. And with the help of the district and in partnership with other groups, I think we have really helped to transform that area, which I think with the data that we have, and which I'm happy that the data was part of the plastic bill report that the county sent in support of, you know, the plastic bill in Virginia. It's a project that it's a good showcase of the impact of plastic bags, how we can reduce it. And we all look with excitement to see where that project would take us to, just to keep the group informed. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Great.
So I just wanted to really quickly reiterate about, where are you? About our website. So I think the only thing I really wanted to talk about today, first of all, if you haven't signed up as a member, please do. I added finally a members only page. There we go. Which has all of our meetings, but you can only access this page if you're a member of the website. So if you want to go back and watch any of the previous meetings, they're all on here. And the internet's being really slow. And then also under the members only content, I've got a members only forum. So if there's discussions that we want to have that we don't necessarily want the public to be part of, that would be the place to post those discussions. I will also start placing our list of member attendees to our meetings and also our meeting notes to that page. So all of these kind of, you know, members only topics and videos and things like that, that's where you're going to find that, and you have to be a member of the website in order to access it. So I wanted to show you all that. And then the forums, as we've mentioned a few times today, really want this to be a really interactive resource for everybody. So if you have a new report that's come out, for example, Jessica posted her report about Eastern Shore and the litter, results of the litter up there. And we've just been, Katie and I have been kind of trying to populate it, but you're going to get tired of hearing from us. And we would really love to hear from you. And by using these forums, so let's see. If we go into the research, we can see Jessica's report. You guys can have, all of us can have discussions about whatever's been posted there. So we can talk to each other in between meetings. We can ask questions. You can upload files and report files so that everyone can see them. And then you know, you can post your own questions or topics. If there's a topic of, that I've missed on here, please let me know and I can add that. So I've got litter cleanups, education and outreach, business, innovation, legislation, microplastics, volunteer opportunities, single-use plastics, member organizations, and research. So if there's anything else, if you can think of it right now, throw it in the chat room. If not, feel free to shoot us an email. And that's kind of all I wanted to go over. We've got almost 50 members on here now, which is wonderful. Each organization gets up to 3 can have up to 3 participants. You're all listed here. Someone can search for you. They can search by location, by organization name, by your name. And I just hope that this will turn out to be a wonderful resource for everyone, not just for us, but for the public as well, to learn more about plastic pollution. And
Christina, this is Virginia Whitmer. Thank you. It is a fantastic resource. And I do have some things I want to post, and I will do it very soon to share. So I'm looking forward to having a little more time in just a short while to do that. We're in the middle of a major website rehaul, and I've been trying to draft up 75+ pages. So yeah.
Well, thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you, everyone who would add, like she said, your questions, your resources, links, new reports that you see that other people have done that might be of interest. So the more we all use it, the more valuable it will be. And most of the website is open to every visitor. It's just the members only page and the members only forum, but most of those forums are open to anyone, which I think will be a real resource, especially to young people. I'm sure a lot of you who work in this field get a lot of requests from students who are doing a project on something, and we're hoping that this will be a resource for them and educators, as well as perhaps decision makers like legislators, if they're looking into some of these topics too. So please jump on.
Yeah, and you can subscribe to a forum. So if you are interested in research, you can subscribe to that and you'll get email updates, I believe, when someone posts something. So, you know, I choose not to do that because I get enough emails as it is, but you can go on, you know, once a week and just see what's new. That'll pop up on the front page. So, you know, if you guys have any ideas or questions, of course, feel free to email us and we'll do our best. And I see Megan on here. She actually introduced us to this platform. Thank you. It's been an interesting learning curve.
Yeah, and actually a question came up earlier today with Cindy Smith, who I think is on, and she had some high school students that she's working with that are interested in plastic pollution. And the question was, can they participate? And the answer is, you know, absolutely. Again, the website is open to anybody for the most part. We encourage them to come on to the Zoom calls. The one thing though that we are limiting membership to 3 people per organization. And that you might wonder why. The answer is we pay a subscription fee to the company that hosts our website and maintains our membership directory. And it costs, the more members we have, the higher the subscription is. And so right now we're gonna try to keep it to about 100 or so members. However, because we just don't have the funds for the next level up. If, however, this turns out to be really, really popular and we're getting to close to 100 members, then we'll see what we can do. But we're hoping that people be judicious. You know, if you've got 40 people on your staff, pick the 2 or 3 that are really focused on plastic pollution to become the members. So if there's no other questions about that, I think it's time for our 2 featured speakers. Christina, are you going to introduce them?
Sure. So our topic today is going to be green restaurant certification programs. We were hoping to get some folks from the restaurant industry to join in this discussion, and it certainly is going to be a discussion that we will have next year with them. They're actually kind of excited to talk to all of us, and I'm sure we have a lot of questions for them. You know, especially with COVID right now, we've all had that horrible feeling of the increase in styrofoam and plastic bags with all the takeout that's happening. And in talking with the executive director for the Virginia Beach Restaurant Association, it's a frustration. The cost for the alternatives can be very frustrating and prohibitive. So we'll have that discussion with that side of the industry in the very near future, hopefully. But for now, we're going to have Tom Griffin with Virginia Green Travel and Matt Gove with Surfrider Foundation talk to us about their certification programs. Tom, would you like to go first?
Sure.
Did you want me to show the website while you're talking?
You can pop it up for half a second if you want. I mean,
sure.
So just gonna talk generally about things. And I'll show.
I'll get there. There it is.
Logo and things here. You mentioned earlier that you were at Good Eats in Lexington, which is one of our certified restaurants, and hopefully you saw this logo in the door. And so there again is our website. And maybe you could pop it over. Well, I'll just talk real briefly just about the program. You see there the logos that are featured. I'm the executive director of the Virginia Green Travel Alliance. So we're the 501c3 that was created in 2014-15 to push this initiative forward and support sustainable tourism initiatives statewide. But we are really run through a partnership. Couldn't do it without our partnership of organizations. And again, the program itself, the Virginia Green Certification, started with the Department of Environmental Quality, but it really didn't get wings until we partnered with the Virginia Tourism Corporation, and then also the VRLTA, the trade association, Virginia Restaurant, Lodging and Travel Association. So, the VRLTA helps us get to restaurants and work with the industry. The Department of Environmental Quality helps us develop the standards and the resources, and they even help us, like in a help desk capacity. You can ask Virginia Green, they'll help you research things, and in that capacity. And then Virginians for Lovers, if you go to virginia.org/green, we are their green tourism program. So that's where consumers are encouraged to get involved, and really those who care support the folks that are certified, that have gone to this extra effort to really, work on their commitments. And again, it's an industry in general that we like to say, okay, in most hotels or certainly restaurants, maybe much larger organizations, but down at the facility level of those types of businesses, you don't have anybody with environmental manager or sustainability coordinator on staff. So we really serve as a resource to those folks. So Christina, if I could get you to go to the far right side, there's in the upper right-hand screen, a part of the screen there it is. Click on that and just click Get Certified. It's at the bottom, sorry. Yeah. So anyhow, I won't go into, maybe you could just scroll down a little bit more, but basically, we have a certification process. It's a voluntary program. We do charge an administrative fee to be part of the program, but essentially the facilities are self-certifying that they have their green practices in place. So, and we do like a desk audit where they have to send us pictures and things. And if they qualify, if they are able to, and again, it's a broad list, certainly focused on recycling and waste reduction, but also energy and water conservation and, sustainable principles and green team leadership. And, we're trying to help our tourism businesses really create their own green program that they can sustain themselves. And we don't make it the hardest thing in the world to become certified in the beginning. Rather, we are working with our folks to get them to a baseline level to meet some initial requirements. Certainly they have to have recycling, and they have to have a number of energy efficiency projects in place and that sort of thing in each category. But then we are encouraging them and providing them with resources so they get greener, even greener over time. So that's the basic concept. And as it relates to plastics and single-use plastics. So, it's always been in the certification program. Again, we don't require everybody to do everything or to be all the way in every area, but you know, from the starting point, polystyrene, styrofoam, you know, disposables and things are simply not allowed. And certainly we're discouraging the use of single-use plastics at every level, you know, whether it's, you know, utensils and, you know, condiments and things and cups and beverage containers. You know, we're encouraging folks to use water pitchers and avoid water bottles and all that type of thing. And, you know, they're basically checklist ideas where we're encouraging them to, you know, avoid using plastic bags, maybe using paper bags for takeout, but also ideas and concepts encouraging them to allow folks to bring their own Tupperware for leftovers, and you know, bring their reusable bags and things when they're getting takeout. So, you know, all that type of stuff is in there. Avoiding individually wrapped everything is certainly a concept, you know, that we use. And but yet here we are in COVID times, and man, some of my restaurants, it was just very upsetting even to them, because they really felt like to meet the terms, and we can probably quit showing that whenever you want, Christina. But you know, it was upsetting that they felt like when they were moving more into the only the takeout type service, that they had to provide these individually wrapped utensils and things instead of, you know, and they had to bring condiments and all that type of stuff. So luckily, you know, we've even circulated some ideas along those lines. It's like, you know, back to these are folks who aren't used to doing lots and lots of takeout. So it's more getting back to concepts that make sense, asking people if they need utensils and things, or napkins or whatever it might be. And certainly that applies to straws. So we've been having an ongoing discussion about straws. We now have, or we're getting ready to, it's been in there about straws in our application process. It wasn't a requirement. We now have a requirement that says that you must be able to check at least one of these 3 boxes. And the first is to eliminate. You've completely eliminated plastic drinking straws. 2, you only provide straws upon request. And lastly, you know, you provide non-plastic straws. So you have to be able to check one of those boxes in order to meet your certification requirement. And in working with DEQ, we're even coming out with, you know, sort of a skip the straw type campaign just for the Virginia Green program, with some graphics and things similar that we're stealing from you, Katie and Christina. But you gave us carte blanche. Your fault. So, okay. But we'll okay those final drafts with you before we launch anything there. But we're very close on that. And we also, you know, at the beginning of this year, we did put a complete balloon release ban in to our festival and events certification. So, and you know, I mean, there are lots of different areas there where, you know, we're trying to avoid plastics and encouraging the use of, you know, again, avoiding disposables altogether, but moving towards plant-based materials, compostable materials, and providing for composting itself when those materials are in use. So that's kind of our download there from what we're trying to do to support this. But again, you know, we're talking about getting restaurants involved. We've still got an army of 350 on the rolls, and we've got a total of 1,200 businesses that are engaged with our certification process. So that would be another, I think we're about 650 B&Bs and hotels in the lodging sector. So certainly, you know, a food component and single-use plastics, you know, areas as well. In addition to like attractions and amusement parks, and you know, we work with all the colleges and universities and things too. So, you know, you all, this group is great. It kind of acts like it's like a little mini conference. You know, a lot of little mini conferences we get quick presentations, and I'm already over my 4 or 5 minutes right now. So I'll just stop right there and turn it back over to you all in the discussion. Thank you.
I had just one comment before we go to Matt, because he's also going to give us a little mini talk. Somebody wrote in the comments, is it true that the health department or CDC is encouraging or requiring that people are not allowed to bring their own coffee mugs to restaurants for refills and things like that? And I thought, Tom, if you could respond, and Matt perhaps as well.
That's a great question. It's an issue that we've been fighting for years. And, you know, our group really gets its hands dirty, if you will, for festivals and events, especially, you know, being located in Richmond. We certify them all over the state, but we really work very closely on that issue. And man, we've had to fight tooth and nail before COVID to allow for that to happen at festivals, or, you know, where you can refill your beer cup or, you know, bring your own or what have you. So we have not heard it. I will just have to say that I haven't, we do have the health department letters in hand that say you can do that. But I am aware that, you know, you're going to see signs at some, you know, convenience stores and things that say we're not doing that right now. But I haven't heard anything strictly from the health department. And yet you are seeing other facilities that are still allowing it. So I'm sort of thinking the answer there is no.
Okay. All right. Well, let's segue to Matt, and perhaps there'll be other questions that will be applicable to both of you after Matt's talk.
Hey all, and Christina, did you want me to talk about the third-party food app legislation, takeout food app as well? Okay, I'll do that first. So hey, I'm Matt. If I haven't met you before, I'm from Surfrider. If you've heard of Surfrider, it's we're a little bit confusing. You know, I work for Surfrider. I actually live in New York City, but I help our chapters of volunteers from New York to Virginia. So we have a Virginia chapter. Most of the volunteers are down by Virginia Beach, but we have some in Richmond as well. And like I said, they're all volunteers, and they work on various projects that they're interested in, and maybe you've been to a beach cleanup that they've organized. First, I'll just briefly mention that there is legislation we're working on up here that would basically say, you know, basically flip the script on food delivery, takeout food. You know, most people expect to get condiments and utensils and napkins. So we're trying to flip that around in New York City, and people, there's a couple other cities across the country that are trying to do this, trying to get so that the customer expects nothing. You get your food, you get nothing unless you ask. So we're trying to pass a bill that says you don't get your utensils, your condiments, your napkins, your straws, unless you say you want those things. So it's not going to be easy, but it will save restaurants money, so that's good. And making it more complicated is, as most of you know, now there's all these food apps where you can order through them. So they're going to have to get on board as well. So we're working on that in New York City. Hopefully that'll come to Virginia someday. And there's also a group that's working nationally to come up with standard language that people can use in their city. So that's that. And then I'll briefly talk about our restaurant program, kind of similar to what Tom was talking about. See if I can just show you the website real quick. Does that work?
Yes, we see it.
All right, so Surfrider started this program a few years back, and it's a national program now. And like I said, you know, we have all these chapters, so the chapters don't have to work on this program if they don't want to. And the Virginia chapter hasn't had someone step up to really say that they want to work on it. So I think there's only 4 restaurants in the whole state of Virginia that are in the program. But we do have about 600 restaurants across the country that are in the program. And I'll give you this link. We have a map so you can find restaurants when you're traveling or wherever you are. So each restaurant gets put on the map. And then it's basically you have to do certain things, and then you can choose from an optional list. So it's basically styrofoam is out, plastic bags are out, Plastic straws are out. When people are eating in your restaurant, they have to be given all reusable items. So basically, we've been ratcheting this program up. We've changed it. You know, back when paper straws were still quite hard to come by, we didn't require them to do that. But now that they're much more available, we do require paper straws only and only on request. The only things we have left that are kind of nasty stuff is for takeout food, we're not requiring them to go, you know, all compostable or whatever, because that stuff is still tricky to figure out. So they do all those 5 things, and then you can see on the right here, then they choose 2 of these things on the right. And those are very, very different topics. And then they can register right there, and there is a fee. We are doing an update. Like I said, we're doing an update right now. So we are trying to get a sponsor to get rid of the fee. It's only $150 a year, but we'd rather not have to ask them to pay anything. We're trying to add compost as one of the options and make things a little more clear on this page here. And I'm not sure what's in a list of benefits. That's kind of confusing. I mean, they get a sticker like Tom had to put in their window. They can put the logo on their website. They get put on put on that map I showed you. And probably the best thing they get is that the local chapter will give them some love on social media. You know, say, hey, look, this restaurant just signed up. Please go check them out. And whenever we do in-person events, then we try to do our events at these restaurants, because we do end up doing, you know, quite a few either events at a restaurant or bar, or you know, maybe a happy hour or a party. So we try to always go to our OFRs. I'll show you this cute video for a second. I wonder if this is going to work. If it starts not working, just shake your head.
Estimated that over 5 trillion pieces of plastic are floating in the ocean, littering our beaches, killing wildlife, and ending up in our food chain. The Surfrider Foundation's Ocean Friendly Restaurants program is tackling these issues head on by encouraging restaurants to make simple changes that collectively make a huge impact.
Yeah, I'm Jack Johnson, and I support Surfrider Foundation's Ocean Friendly Restaurants program. It's a great way to learn about restaurants that are eliminating single-use plastic from their practices and supporting sustainable seafood.
So what makes a restaurant ocean friendly? Reusable tableware when dining in. Proper recycling practices are followed. No straw unless you ask for it. No styrofoam at all. And no plastic bags for to-go orders. Surfrider's Ocean Friendly Restaurants program is encouraging restaurants to move to more environmentally friendly practices. To find an ocean-friendly restaurant in your local community and to learn more, visit surfrider.org.
All right, and to avoid any technological problems, and I'll give you the link. And that's not the link. I'll find the real link. And you know, basically, like I said, the local chapter, the Virginia chapter, really hasn't found someone to step up and put time into this. So if you know someone who's passionate about that, just reach out. And maybe we can get you hooked up, and you can start working on this. There we go.
Great. Are there any questions for Matt or Tom or both of them?
Before we get into the discussion, there were a few people that joined, so we just want to make sure that everybody that's on this meeting, put your name and organization and email into the chat box, please, so we have a record of everyone that's on here. And that's all.
Okay.
I just had a quick comment. I mean, it's great that you all had that video. The video was fantastic with Jack Johnson. It's kind of funny that about 12 years ago, when we were first putting the Virginia Green program together, one of the first attractions that we certified was the Virginia Beach Amphitheater. And the reason that they were going green and really like getting serious about their recycling and all, I mean, they were doing a lot of different things, was because of Jack Johnson. He told them that he would not play at their amphitheater unless they had these measures in place.
Excellent.
Yeah. So anyhow, but also, Matt, I just look forward to, I'd love to work more closely with you in the future.
Yeah.
Certainly, you know, with your program, if it's in place, you know, that's going to be a great starter certainly for us. But I mean, I think we'd love to just encourage our restaurants to also be part of your program.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Cross those two together.
One of the topics that we're going to cover at a future Zoom meeting is about straw programs. Surfrider has a straw program. Clean Virginia Waterways, we developed one that's focused on universities and high schools, and Ocean Conservancy has one. And now Tom Griffin, you guys are start one as well. So we'll do a little shopping list of all the different straw programs out there that people can learn about. Are there any thoughts or comments for Matt or Tom? Yeah, go ahead, Carrie.
Yeah, for either of you, do prospective participants ever ask, do you have evidence that our business will go up if I get certified? And is there any evidence, even if it's kind of loose?
We definitely don't have those stats. Those would be amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know if
be hard to get.
Yeah, I don't know if they do go up, but I would think they would a little bit. Restaurants seem pretty excited to get the Instagram coverage because it does give them a shout out. So that's a good question though.
Yeah.
Well, I think, I mean, Matt touched on it earlier. You know, he said that they have their events. I mean, there's a piece of business right there. You know, one of the things we talk about ROI a good bit, you know, everything that's in our program, yeah, there might be a cost associated with joining or something like that. And some of these things do cost a little bit more money, but they're all focused on cost savings, really. I mean, so many aspects of them are focused on cost savings. But then there's just going to be the, you know, even just like for a hotel, hotels, you know, we look at the fact that they're putting on conferences and events, or at least they used to in person, and just one piece of business, you know, is certainly going to be make it worth their while. You know, one conference or whatever that where the revenue is, you know, $10,000 to $20,000 off of that business. And then I just think day to day, whether you're a brewery or a restaurant or what have you, you know, you've got your regular clients, your regular customers that repeat business is what makes the tourism business, whether you're coming from out of town or whether you live in the neighborhood. So I think that really, you know, when you put that tie-in of environmental commitment, you know, which really can be nothing but you know, a positive spin. I think it's going to improve your business.
Yep. Thanks.
Anybody else have any thoughts or comments?
Yeah, I have. This is Jim Deppie. I have one. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I used to run the Ocean Friendly Restaurants program for Surfrider in Virginia, and we were up to 14, and then I went off to do something else. But one of the things I would say to that last question was there were two great examples in the nation of Surfrider Foundation's program setting a tone and becoming coveted. The first one was in Oahu, where that was really a sought after sticker on a restaurant's door, and it attracted and was devoted to by the surfing community on Oahu. Same for Southern California. San Diego City Council actually adopted Surfrider Foundation's criteria for all of their restaurants, and made it law. So you know, it has set a tone. There must be a critical mass. We never reached it in Virginia Beach, but there are interested restaurant owners for sure. Part of the problem is education. A lot of business owners made decisions because they were sold packages by distributors that were allegedly green, but were not green, because their products were actually bioplastics, which were advertised to be compostable, but a bioplastic behaves exactly like a regular plastic utensil in the marine environment, it never breaks down. So that's why Surfrider is very strict about their criteria, but part of it is a public education move. That's my piece. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Jim. That's really good information. And I just wrote down perhaps a future topic we can talk about are bioplastics and commercial composting, because you're right, there's a lot of confusion about it. I also wanted to talk or ask you, Tom and Matt, and maybe Jim. Years ago, I was at a marine debris conference, and there was somebody who was talking about a town that they found that for every restaurant to purchase paper-based takeout, it would cost so much. And so a consortium was put together that they would buy in bulk, huge numbers, more than any tiny restaurant could do on their own in order to get a price break. Have any of you heard of such consortiums? And if so, where? Is this something that might be worth promoting in Virginia?
I will say Tracy Leverty from Keep Virginia Beautiful is on the call. In her previous life, or she still helps with major festivals and events. And so that's one of her concepts, and you can, chime right in whatever you want here, Tracy. But we worked on that, and she did that for her festivals and events, and even helped make it happen for like something as major as the 2015 cycling race that came to Richmond. And so and then we talked about parlaying it into a business model itself, by where you get all the restaurants at the table. And it was a great concept, but again, a lot of work to make it happen. And wish we'd gotten there.
Yeah, I will add in just a couple of cents. It felt like there was a while. Does anybody remember the group Green Duck? It was a long time ago, but that was when compostables were first on the market and very, very expensive. And she tried to make it a business, and it was just way too expensive. And then there was a period of time where it was a little bit more mainstream, still not as affordable. And that's when I stepped in, because as running big food festivals, number one, brought up petite. That was a part of my model from day one. I've never allowed restaurants to bring styrofoam to the streets in 12 years. So I had to make it work, and I had to make it a part of my expense, how I ran the event. And around, like Tom mentioned, 2015, everybody saw, PFG, Cisco, all the EcoProd. You could go online and search for Amazon for product and find it in bulk. If you had months, that you could wait to get stuff, you could get it at good price. And now I feel like it's all come full circle. And while I feel like there might be the need for that little consortium, I feel like it's already out there, number one, or it's not necessarily needed because the prices are competitive.
Okay.
I've got cases and cases of bowls and plates for levels, and I get end quantity pricing that is kind of near what restaurants can get these days. I'm not really that much. I can't offer, like in 2015, everyone had to use these products, and I had by far the best price. So that was the way that it did it, and there was no markup involved. It was just a requirement to be out on the street, and we set up a mechanism to provide it to them to make it
great.
easy.
Thank you. That's very interesting. And hopefully we can explore this more in 2021.
And if anyone needs any more information about all those products, Tom knows it in and out. He does trash audits in his sleep. And I know all the suppliers and that kind of thing, and specialty products, little condiment, all the weird things, sporks. I know where you can get compostable sporks.
Okay.
So anyway, thanks for letting me speak up.
Well, thank you. That's very interesting. We just have a few minutes left because we promised that we were going to end at 4:15. One person did write in the comments if there was interest in having this meeting start at 2 instead of starting at 3. I wonder if we can do a quick vote on that topic. Those of you who have your cameras on, would 2 o'clock on the third Tuesday of every month work better than 3 o'clock? How about if you think 2 is better, go up, and if it's not better, just go like that. Okay, we've got a couple of it doesn't matter. There's 2 that it does. One says no, that'd be worse. One says that'd be better. Yeah. I'm just thinking that they're always going to have conflicts. Okay, so we will discuss that and see what we want to do for December. But thank you for that quickie vote.
Katie, I think Karen had a question.
Oh yes, go ahead, Karen. You're on mute.
Thank you. If you have just a few minutes, Christina mentioned our Pearl Business Program in Virginia Beach. So I just wanted to explain a little further that for all of our Pearl businesses that are in the hospitality industry, we have a reciprocal arrangement with Go Green. So if they qualify to be a Pearl business, then they also become a Go Green member, and we have similar requirements. Only applies to those in the hospitality industry, but we have a lot of restaurants and hotels in Virginia Beach. So a lot of businesses that are in the hospitality industry. And I'll just tell you a story from one of our restaurants. To become a part of our Pearl Business Program, he was required to stop using styrofoam. And he was reluctant because the alternative cost him more money. But he complied and got rid of styrofoam. And he started charging 5 cents for all carry-out containers as a surcharge to help him be able to eliminate styrofoam. And he not only didn't get pushback from his customers on that, he got some of the best Yelp reviews he's ever gotten, applauding him doing that. So he was able to, really shine a light on the fact that they were trying to do the right thing by eliminating styrofoam. And it definitely paid off for him in terms of the public's perception of his restaurant. So I passed that on because the question was raised earlier about what's in it for the businesses or what's in it for the restaurants. And it really is consumer demand. And I think our consumers are becoming more demanding, are becoming more discerning about where they spend their money, and wanting the businesses that they work with, or the restaurants that they go to, or the hotels where they stay, to be doing things in a responsible way. So I think there's a lot in it for the businesses, and we just need a few little anecdotes, like my friend's restaurant, and his story about his good reviews, to help others see that there really is a lot in it for them in terms of how the public perceives their business.
Great point, Karen. In fact, in addition to lots of anecdotes, some hard numbers might be really good too, to convince people. And I see one person has a hand up. Jackie, did you want to say something? Or is your hand up from something earlier?
Sorry. Oh, yes. I was going to ask if I could put in a quick plug for a new nonprofit, but I can wait till after we're done with this discussion.
Okay. We'll keep that in mind. And Zach, did you?
There's actually a lot of data out about the changing consumer demographics in the country and the focus on sustainable businesses. There's some good information that younger consumers are looking for sustainable businesses and will actually pay more to support businesses that operate with environmentally and socially responsible principles. And I'm happy to forward some of that along to anybody. I've written about it quite a bit.
Great. That's I wrote that down for another future topic that we can maybe spend some time on. That's wonderful. I saw something like that too that said young people won't date somebody who doesn't recycle. Like, okay, that's living their values. All right. If there's nobody else, if there's no other comments along this line, Jackie, do you want to give a quick plug?
Sure, I'll be quick. So I just wanted to let everybody know that we just launched a brand new nonprofit called The Next Swell, which is our main aim is to raise scholarship money for marine science students and conservationists, so undergraduate and graduate scholarships. But right now we are having a fundraising event that is a 5K cleanup event. It's a virtual event. You can do it on your own time. And so that's information for that is available at thenextswell.org. And I can put that in the comments.
Okay. And Jackie, what organization are you with again?
I'm going to go ahead and say I'm with the Next Swell. I work for the Navy, but I'm not here on official Navy time. So I'm here just as a private citizen otherwise. But I'll go ahead and put the Next Swell down as my organization.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Any last comments from anybody else so we can finish on time? Anybody else?
I think probably needs to be deeper discussion about compostables, especially here in Virginia. Because I know that the plasticky looking compostables are probably a lot less expensive than the papery looking compostables. And there's so many different options out there. And I feel like, and that might be a discussion that we would have when we do have the restaurant industry as part of that discussion. But there's only one composting facility here in Virginia that can take that kind of stuff. Isn't that true?
I think so. Near Williamsburg. Is it? Or...
It's out by Richmond, I think.
No, it's Waverly, Virginia.
Yeah.
Is where McGill is. And then there's Black Bear operates in the Shenandoah Valley. There's a couple of smaller ones that operate in the Roanoke area. And then Northern Virginia is serviced by facilities in Maryland. There's actually a pretty good network of haulers. I mean, even though the number of facilities is limited, the network is pretty mature at this point. So there's really aren't reasons why we couldn't move that direction other than, again, the price to make those things happen.
And Katie, we can get, there's the organization that does that is actually in Richmond, Nope. Natural Organic Enterprise, what is it? Process Enterprise. And they really facilitate the nasty part of, they come to all my events, they provide the bins, they come pick it up, they slop it around, they make sure that, it's not contaminated and can't go to a compost facility. But they do the tough parts, and they work with they work with the Hilton. They do the composting for the Hilton. They're working with the new kitchens up in Churchill with J. Sargent Reynolds. So it's a pretty good business. There should be more people doing it for sure. Then the price would be more competitive and more people would do it and all that good stuff. And COVID just put a massive brakes on that kind of thing.
Sure. All right, just as a reminder, a couple of people have said, how can we get the notes out of the chat? I will make a copy of all the notes in the chat. And if you're interested, I can send those to you. Also, remember, we recorded this and it will be available on our website for members to view in the future if you missed part of it. Any parting thoughts or questions? We've got a lot of great topics for our next meeting.
No. And don't forget, if you do want to do a 3-minute plug for December, to shoot us an email. Again, we'll keep 3 spots open, I think, per meeting for that. If you want to introduce your organization or a project or whatever you can do in 3 minutes or less, be like with relation to plastic pollution prevention, of course.
Right, and then every meeting we also have a longer discussion like we had today from Tom. Thank you, Tom, and from Matt.
Thank you, Tom and Matt.
We appreciate that. And again, if you want to be on next meeting agenda for 3 minutes or a little longer, let us know. But thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see some of you and most of you, I hope, in December. Bye.